Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next topic in travel services and travel operations, and that is the private sector. Okay. Previously, we discussed about the government sector and the role of the government in the tourism industry. Of course, you learn the different government agencies involved in tourism, like the Department of Tourism. We have the Philippine Convention and Visitors Corporation, or the PCVC. We also have the PTA and of course the LGUs from the city, the towns, and the provincial tourism offices. We also discussed about the different agencies in the government indirectly involved in tourism, like the Philippine National Police, who is taking care of the safety of the tourists, the DFA, where tourists would process their passports, and for the Bureau of Immigration, where of course we get our visa, and the DENR is also involved in taking care and preserving the natural attractions that we have so that the future generations can still enjoy the natural attractions that we are enjoying right now. Okay, so we will now proceed to the next topic, and that is the private sector. Actually, in the tourism industry, the government sector has one of a very important role, but of course, without the private sector, tourism industry or the tourism industry in the Philippines will not be a successful industry. So the private sector has also a very important role in the tourism industry. So when we say the private sector, it involves the transportation industry. We know in the definition of tourism that it involves traveling from one place to another. So with that, transportation is really very important. So without travel, there is no tourism. The sector comprises of all entities involved in the transportation of people and goods from one point of origin to a destination. So the transportation is composed of the different methods like the air transport, the sea or the water transport, and of course the land transport. We will discuss each method one by one. Let us start with the air transportation. Of course, it involves the airlines, whether it's a charter airline or a commercial airline. Of course, the airline industry or the airlines will bring tourists or the people to different places. Like if, for example, you are traveling or you are going to Cebu, and we are now here in Tanay City. Of course, you have two ways to go there. It's either you go by water transport or by boat or ship, or you can also take the air transport, that is Dumaguete to Cebu via Cebu Pacific or Air Philippines. Okay, so that is the help, of course, of the air transportation, because it takes just a few minutes for you to travel going to Cebu from Dumaguete. It only takes about 15 minutes compared to traveling by water, which is about 6 to 8 hours from Cebu to Dumaguete and vice versa. So another method is the water transport. It can be the boat, the yachts, the cruises, and the ships. It still transports people or transport people from one place to another. With the cruises, it's called the floating hotel or the floating resort, wherein the cruise travels to different ports of call, and then tourists would stay in a certain port of call for a tour in less than 24 hours, and after that they go back to the cruise and travel to another place or another destination. Of course, cruises are now considered to be a destination in itself. Another one are the ships. Of course, they carry regular passengers as well as tourists from one place to another. And they also carry cargo, just like the planes. So the water transport is also a very important part of the transportation industry. Oh, of course, we have yachts, we have ferries, boats, kayak, boats, and others. Those are examples of water transportation. Of course, the third one is the land transportation. It includes rail transport. Like in Manila, we have the LRT or the MRT. Of course, here in the province, we don't have that. So the land transport that we usually use or take when we go to different places are the buses. We have the vans, or for hire or for rent. And for tourists, mostly they go by vans for small groups and by buses when it's a big group. So in traveling also to places which are just near, like in just a city tour, it depends on the mode of transport that is very accessible in the city. Like in Dumaguete, very accessible are the tricycles, or we call it the pedicabs. Of course, we can also see in the boulevard some horses with carriage, and it's also used by tourists to transport from one place to another just within the city. So those are the different methods of transportation. And of course, the transportation industry is a very important sector in the tourism. Again, as I've said a while ago, that without travel, there is no tourism. Okay, and another part of the private sector is the lodging industry. We also call it the accommodation sector, or the hospitality sector, which involves the accommodation and the food and beverage establishments. So let us first discuss the lodging industry. Actually, there are different classifications of lodging properties. Number one of that are the hotels. Hotels are composed of 2 or more floors with rooms located in hallways. Services include housekeeping, bell service, business center, recreational facilities, restaurants, bars, and many more. One of the tallest hotel in the world is the Burj Al Arab Hotel in Dubai. We also have different hotels, big hotels, or we call it the 5-star hotels that are located in Manila and Cebu. Okada Manila, Conrad Manila, we also have Fairmont Makati, and the Peninsula Manila. Actually, there are a lot of hotels in Manila and in Cebu. In the province of Negros Oriental, specifically in the capital, Dumaguete City, we can see different hotels as well. We have the Bethel Hotel, the Sierra Hotel, and of course, Hotel and Resort, the Henry Resort Dumaguete. We also have Go Hotels, owned by Robinson's group of companies. And of course, we also have Hotel Nicanor and many more. Other facilities offering lodging or accommodation are the motels. Motels offer parking facilities next to the guest room, and of course, services are limited. Motels are for motorists. That's why it's called motel, because it's a motorist hotel. When motorist travels for a long ride to a destination, and of course, if they want to take a nap or rest, they stop at the nearest motel, take a nap and to relax before they proceed to the final destination. Motels have parking lots or parking areas just beside their room for easy access, of course, and they have limited service. Most of the hotels don't have restaurants and don't have other services that are also offered in hotels. Another one are the all-suite hotels. These are still hotels that offer guest suites that comprise the bedroom, the kitchenette, living space, and parlor. There are actually a lot of hotels also that are specializing in suite rooms, and we call them the all-suite hotels. Another one are convention hotels, which provide meetings and banquet facilities for large groups. So most of these hotels also have big function areas as one of their facilities. Okay, so we will now go to the different room types, whether in hotels or in lodging houses. We have the twin room, double room, triple, quad or the quadruple, and of course single occupancy rooms. So when we say a single room, of course it's a room with one bed, and it's good for one person only. So that's why it's called single. And of course we have the double and twin rooms. Sometimes we have a difficulty of determining the difference between the twin room and the suite room, the twin room and the double room. So when we say double room, it's assigned for 2 people, while the twin room is a room with 2 beds. So usually in twin double rooms, it's good for 2 people, and most of their beds are just beside each other, and it's not separated, unlike the twin rooms that beds are really separated, but still it's still good for 2 persons. The quad rooms are a room assigned to 4 people. Usually quad rooms are family rooms. And of course we also have queen rooms, king rooms, and others. The different types of rooms depends in the lodging facility and the hotel. So each hotel or lodging facility has or offers different types of rooms. In the next video, we are going to discuss about the food and beverage sector, as well as the travel trade, which are part of the private sector of the tourism industry. And before we end, I would like to request you to subscribe in this YouTube channel and hit like. Thank you.